You got to tell us about the beer, because I don't even know what that is all about.
And we're live.
All about.
Hey everyone, today is Thursday, May 30th, and I think we're live according to the software. I just,
It's always a guessing game.
well, I use my new keyboard
exactly
functionality. Here we go. Right, so welcome to Actifio On-Tech. I am Jay, along with
Jason.
I'm Giovanni.
Excellent. Well, thank you. Well, the first and biggest question we have to discuss, no more Candy Crush for you, is what is the beer for today?
What is the beer? I don't know. Gio brought it.
Yeah,
so
Gio, what did you bring?
We're digging into that already, huh? All right.
You got
We
it.
always forget. We got to
I
get
know.
it now,
All right,
you know?
we're gonna get right into the
Jay's thirsty, all right?
the important stuff. So, my buddy Don, aka Fernando, aka the Don, shout out. He gave me. He went up to Spyglass Brewing in Nashua, New Hampshire. Brought me back a couple cans of IPAs. I had one already with him, which was amazing, and this one is called State Machine. It is double dry hopped with Idaho 7 hops. Now, that's probably one of the hops that I'm like least familiar with, but I did some
Is it
research.
from Idaho?
Probably.
Is it made with potatoes?
I don't think so. I like, so when you see hot pellets, right? It's more like
Rabbit food.
right? So I guess they're known for their piney, tropical, fruity, citrusy, earthy, and floral flavors and aromas. So thought that was interesting. But Spyglass is new to Nashua, and I mean, I haven't really heard of like too many breweries out of New Hampshire that are like mind-blowing, right, compared to like what we have here, luckily in Massachusetts and along the coastline up in Maine and whatnot. But I've been pleasantly surprised with what I've had from them. So I'm looking forward to sharing this with you guys.
Speaking of beer, I just saw this morning that one of the local breweries, Wormtown Brewing,
Yeah.
is opening a new tap room
Yep.
in Patriot Place
They
in
are.
Foxborough.
Yeah,
So that's pretty exciting.
They're great. This smells great, by the way. They're a great brewery. I work closely with them, and the people there are really awesome. The beer is amazing. They've been a staple in Central Massachusetts
Thank you.
for years now, right? And they're distributing well outside Massachusetts now, and
Yeah.
they just do a great job. So I'm happy for them, and love to see them do good things.
Well, there's another one near here that, Jason, you've been to that I've not. Mighty Squirrel here in Waltham,
I
right?
have been to Mighty Squirrel in Waltham. Great place, actually. I was very impressed with my single time being there. Lots of great beers on tap. Lots of great variety as well. They have the traditional IPAs and double
Nice.
IPAs, but they also have sours, stouts, milkshake IPAs. They have a huge variety of different stuff there. I was very impressed. And the beer actually tasted really well. I've been to other smaller craft breweries, and it's kind of like, iffy, or it has that weird, like, I don't know. Have you ever noticed, like, some breweries have, like, a weird craft brew aftertaste?
Sometimes. Sure.
This place kind of didn't really have that
So
at all.
why haven't we gone there? We live
It's right down the
we
street
work
from us.
so close
Yeah,
to
we'll
that.
get there. We'll get there.
We'll
Shout out
get
to-
there.
We got all summer, Jay.
I've
Maybe,
There you go.
if we could do an on-tech from Mighty
I bet
Squirrel,
we might be able to do that. We can find a way.
that would be
We
awesome.
could just do that.
So stay tuned for
All
that.
right,
That'd
all right,
be cool.
good.
And then let's try this. So
All
let's
right.
take a sip. And then while we're doing that, other brewery news. Treehouse cheers.
Smells good.
Treehouse just unloaded their new coffee roaster. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that.
So it was all over Twitter about a couple hours ago. So now they're going to be brewing their own coffee to use in their coffee stouts, which I think is nice, right? Because a lot of breweries that make coffee stouts, they outsource their coffee, right? And they won't brew it their own. So now they're going to be brewing their own, which I think is nice, because then they have complete control as to what beans they're going to use.
Well, they typically have been using lately their Treehouse blend, right, which is from one of the roasters somewhere out in Central Mass, I believe, right? We get the exact company.
I forget the name of the company, but you're right.
But
yes.
they've gotten a few different roasts from there, like their espresso roast and a few other ones. And they
Yep.
actually have a Treehouse roast, which they've kind of branded, as their own. So I wonder if they're going to be growing their own coffee beans on their farm. Can we grow coffee beans?
Not
here?
up here. No, not New England. You need warmth.
So they go down in South
Guatemala
America, South
and
America, Central America, right? Gotcha.
How's the beer?
It's good. It's a little it's not as carbonated as some others.
True.
I find.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I like it.
I think it's got a great fruitiness to it.
It does.
Plus the piney, because you don't get that a lot. Sometimes hops give you fruit only or pine only, right? Where you get like some of the East Coast, West Coast hops. This one's got a nice mixture of both.
I agree with that. I definitely smell a lot of fruit on the nose, get a little fruit in the front, but then the back's all pine.
Pine. Yep.
A little bit like sap from Treehouse, which has some of the Chinook hops, I believe, in them, which are West Coast, which are more give you that piney aftertaste or taste.
Yep.
So yeah, I think it's pretty good. I've
did a
never
great
had
job.
anything from them before, so
Cool.
Yeah.
You want to start with the story, Jason? What do you think?
Sure. So my first story is, because I'm a super nerd, as you all know, is that Star Wars Galaxy's Edge opens up in Disneyland tomorrow.
I saw this in the news this morning on the Today Show because as I was leaving
It's a big
early.
deal.
It is a big deal, but now Disneyland is the one in California, right?
Correct. Anaheim. Yep.
That sounds really cool.
Yep. Yeah, so apparently
tell me.
there's two. So there's a Galaxy's Edge that's going to be at Disneyland and one that's going to be at Disney World. And the one that's opening up tomorrow is the one in Disneyland, and a bunch of reporters had their walkthrough on Wednesday to go through it. And it looks pretty sweet. There's a full-scale replica of the Millennium Falcon in there.
Nice.
They've got a Kylo Ren show as well that you can be a part of. There's a Millennium Falcon kind of ride that you can go into and be in the
That's cool.
cockpit of it, as well as walk around the inside of it as part of it as well. They're building a roller coaster too, which I don't think is ready yet, but that's going to be pretty cool too. Like this kind of not just a typical roller coaster, right, but like a more interactive roller
Yeah,
coaster where
cool.
you're doing like
Right.
this TIE fighter type.
That's cool. I like that already.
Thing as the roller coaster against Kylo Ren, which would be kind of cool. And it's all based off of like new Star Wars, kind of, right? So
I
Kylo
see.
Ren's in it. It's not Darth Vader,
Right.
It's, it's the what is the name of the bad guys in that one? The
First Order?
First Order. First Order.
Yeah, Decepticons.
I'm not a Star Wars
Come
guy.
on, that's Transformers, Autobots, Decepticons.
Yeah,
Come on.
exactly.
Come on, meow.
Just saying.
Jeez, but so it looks pretty cool.
That's-
It looks like
that's
there's a lot
cool.
of cool stuff in there. They say it looks really realistic. There's a bunch of different restaurants in there. There's
Nice.
a cantina, so if you want a little booze,
Nice.
you get
Tequila.
some fun drinks there. I guess
you
they
go.
make, And so far the reviews have been pretty good. It stretches 14 acres. Which is humongous.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
The reporter who was there was mentioning that as when she was standing on the ground there, she couldn't see the castle.
That's cool.
So it seems like you are really in this whole new remote kind of world.
That's cool.
Which is pretty sweet, but you cannot actually go to it unless you have a reservation. So for the first month, Disneyland or Disney has basically said that you need to make a reservation. The reservation sold out in days. Of
course.
So after June 23rd, you'll be able to go there kind of with a regular ticket.
Ah.
But until then, you need the special reservation. And
Be on the list.
That's right. Do the VIP treatment to get
need to
there?
be on the VIP treatment. The bouncer has to let you in. But like I said, it looks pretty
wow.
cool. And as I said before, they are building it for Disney World as well, which is not opened yet, but I believe it opens up later this summer.
Gotcha.
And it looks pretty sweet so far. So whenever I get back there, I've actually never been to Disneyland before. Have you been to Disneyland?
I have been many, many, many years ago.
You
Long
used to
time
live
ago.
out there. So.
Yeah, I went to Disneyland once.
Yeah, I've never been
Not
to
World. I've been to Land.
Right, I've never been to Land. Oh, you've never been to World ever?
Oh, really?
Oh, I've been to World 3 times in my life, something like that, which isn't a lot for if you think about it.
Well, counting work, I've probably been there like 5 or 6 because I've had conferences there in the past.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I once was in, I think it was an IBM conference, and it was actually at the Dolphin and the Swans. It was at the resort. So my buddy and I, decided that we were going to go take advantage of it. So we did the show, and then the night was sort of free or not a lot going on. So we just headed off to Epcot and wandered around and stuff like that.
There you go.
It's pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah, like I said, I haven't been to Disneyland. I'm going to get out there at some
Yeah.
point in my life. But we've done Disney World once when I was 10, once when I was 30, and once
Right.
2 years ago with the kids.
Right. The funny thing about Disney World and Star Wars is that they have a ride, Star Tours, which has probably been around for like 20 years.
Yep.
And it is
that
one
the
of these
one
motion
at-
things.
Is that the one at Epcot in the bubble?
No, Star Tours is the one in, where is that?
Is it the movie?
I think it's MGM. I think it's the movie one.
Okay.
And it's the one where you go and you get into this sort of fake shuttle, and all of a sudden Darth Vader comes on, and you're doing all this stuff. But so it's sort of like a motion thing, like a motion simulator with a pretend driver who's a robot. And the first time I did that ride was at Land. So, and that was probably more like 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
But when I went back to World with my kids, just like you did, that was still the thing there,
that's interesting.
and they were still into
So I
it.
remember at Epcot, the golf ball inside of that was always like this kind of futuristic,
right.
future ride,
Exactly.
right? But I didn't know there was a Star Wars type one already there. That's pretty cool.
Shocked you missed that when you went there with your kids.
We did the Toy Story ride.
I did that.
We did
younger,
the
too.
Cinderella Castle. We met all the princesses.
That's really exciting.
We met all the princesses. I mean, you have 2 boys, so I have a daughter. We met
is
all
true.
the Disney princesses. Ariel, Rapunzel,
Nice.
Cinderella, the list goes on and on. Belle, and all of them. So you would meet all the Disney princesses, 3 daughters. So you would meet all of them if you went to that. But it's fun. The girls, she's so excited. She's so cute, so it's all good. But yeah, so Star Wars Galaxy Edge officially opens tomorrow at Disneyland and later
That's
this
cool.
summer for Disney World. So if you're a Star Wars geek like me, I'm Star Wars all the way. Star Trek, I'm not a Star Trek guy.
Me neither. I'm with
Although
you.
the newer movies for
The newer
Star
movies
Trek
are
are actually
great.
not bad.
I was
Don't
never a
mind
Star
those.
Trek guy, but the
But
new
like back in the day, 70s Star Trek.
Oh, with Captain James T. Kirk, with William Shatner, and Leonard Nimoy.
I watched a little bit of Next Generation with Captain Jean-Luc Picard, which I guess there's a new show coming out with him actually.
Really?
Yeah,
I did
I
not
heard
know
about that on the radio the other day, that he has a new Star Trek show coming out. Don't know anything about it. But I was definitely more Star Wars kind of guy. Darth Vader used to scare the crap out of me when I was a kid.
Oh my gosh! But did you see him in what was the movie? The Force Begins, the one where they get the Death Star plans.
Force Awakens?
It's the one where.
Oh, no, with Kylo, with Juno.
Yeah, and he comes in, and it ends at the start of Star Wars.
Yeah.
And you know what? I won't swear, but boy, that Darth Vader in that episode is like a bad dude, man. Whereas he is much more sort of mellow when you compare that to the Star Wars
What
one.
was that movie? Oh, God. It was the one where they stole the plans for the Death Star.
Yeah, exactly.
And June, what her name? June Urso.
Jyn Erso.
Jyn Erso. She was the character.
Rogue One.
Rogue One, yeah. I actually really like that movie.
Yeah, I did too.
Because everyone complains about, like, after Return of the Jedi. No, sorry. Before New Hope and after. What was the one where Anakin becomes Darth Vader? The third one.
Jaws?
Oh, dude, come on.
Right, yes.
We need our commenters to help us out on this, like drawing a blank here. So there was the Jar Jar Binks one. Then
The Last Jedi, The Force Awakens? No.
No. It was the third one.
I'm drawing a blank.
Star Wars. No. Oh,
I'll find it.
God.
Keep going. We'll figure it out.
Because I don't even know what they're called. So you had Jar Jar Binks, which was what? I don't even remember the name of that movie. God. Oh, here we go. So there was prequel trilogy, right? Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith.
So
that's
between
right.
Revenge of the Sith and New Hope, people were complaining about,
I know,
all
I
this
know.
stuff happened. And I felt like the movie Rogue One really brought it all together, which was the whole point of it, to kind of explain how the Death Star had this
Yeah, how can it have a flaw when it's
huge
so small?
flaw,
I know.
right?
How could
How
that
they
be?
got the plans for it and all that
was
stuff.
good. All right.
So that was pretty cool.
We should make one.
So let's see. So we have 3 things I can choose
You have
from.
3 things.
You can choose. Chio, you make the choice.
Oh, you
Number
make the
1,
choice.
do you want to talk about a new illness? Do you want to talk
Oh.
about a non-existent supercomputer story, which is actually pretty interesting?
Non-existent
Or an
supercomputer.
IoT chip?
No pressure, buddy.
I think you said non-existent supercomputer. Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds great.
So it's a great story. So remember, I'm sure all know the story, and about the guys who went to count cards in Vegas and made a big deal. In fact, one of those guys was speaking data driven. Different story. But did you know?
Did you explain our background? Oh, you did.
Yeah, I took it. Gio said to change it.
Oh, okay. never
Did
mind.
you know that there was someone who did something similar for roulette? Do you know that was even possible?
How is that possible? Roulette's a game of chance.
I didn't either. This is great. So this guy hired people to basically go in and just write down on a piece of paper every single spin and
Right.
every single result at like multiple casinos, primarily in Europe, like
Right,
Monte
but
Carlo.
still, like-
and what happened? What he found
most common
is that over time the sort of wheels wore down. And in fact, it wasn't as random as you thought.
Really?
And so he figured this all out, and he went out and had a 5-year winning streak
No.
where he won $1.3 million from roulette, of all things. And people were like, what is going on? So he's like, I don't know what to do. I can't give away my secret. So his answer was a supercomputer. He got special like algorithms in a supercomputer, which no one had access to. This was a while ago. And basically, that was his excuse. That's how he sort of pretended that didn't give away his secret by saying a supercomputer did all of the work for him.
But really, it was just
really
was
didn't.
him like doing pattern matching.
Yeah, exactly. Like really understanding by doing that analysis about where's, what is likely to come next. And I guess there was enough that you could. Isn't that crazy? Could you imagine that?
I stopped playing roulette because I kept always losing. Because it really only mattered. Like, you could always do like black or red, right?
Right.
Or like the rows or columns of numbers. But you only really win big is when you hit the number, because the number is 35-1 when you hit the number.
Right.
But like I used to play that, and I would try and do the same thing. I'd try and pattern match the numbers and try and guess. Because if you divide the wheel into sections,
right,
like quarters per se, right, and you can kind of estimate where you think it would be, but it also is kind of random as well. So, yeah.
So he was a doctor, and so he did this.
I'm not a doctor. So.
As a side project, and clearly made a lot of money. Interesting.
Side hustle for sure.
Now, is he banned from Vegas?
I don't think so. But he made headlines in papers all over the world, from Kansas to Australia. That's why he had to say supercomputer, because he didn't want to give up the real secret.
I wouldn't give up my secret either.
I know. Isn't that pretty cool, though? I think it's an interesting idea.
Absolutely. What about the illness one? This one I'm more like personally.
Yeah, this guy is Mr. Crunchy.
So who here likes video games? Do you play video games? I see you as a video game guy.
Once in a while.
My kids
when I was a kid, more, but less now.
Same. Well, with our kids, want to play them a lot. So the news this week was the World Health Organization officially classifies gaming disorder as an illness.
Yeah, I believe.
So now you can actually, this was done at the 72nd World Health Assembly, and it's described as a pattern of persistent or recurrent gaming behavior, which may be online or offline, manifested by impaired control over gaming, increasing priority given to gaming to the extent that gaming takes precedence over other life interests and daily activities.
It's like an addiction.
And continuation or escalation of gaming despite the occurrence of negative consequences. It's like an addiction, effectively. You're absolutely right. Long words to say what you just said.
Yeah. Basically me in high school.
Yeah.
You know, well, it's worse now, though, I think.
No, absolutely.
You know, you've heard stories of people. I know someone who remained nameless whose child had this problem where they're so addicted they couldn't do homework.
Yeah.
They couldn't go to school. Like, it's really a problem, and I feel for that family because that's like a really serious problem. Like, if you have therapy, you have to really fight to overcome it. It's not a joking matter.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely. What was the last one you had there?
Jason's got to go with one, and then I'll.
I want to hear about this next one.
You want to hear this one?
You do?
Yeah.
So there's a new Ferrari.
Nice.
Everyone's like, oh, big deal, whatever. Ferrari's been around for a long time. We have a few Ferrari owners here at Actifio, which I'm very jealous.
Three are
of.
not in that group.
No, we are not one of those, unfortunately. Engineers, actually, believe it or not. Well, one's a product manager, but smart guys, nice cars. Obviously, I got to drive a Ferrari at an autocross track in Connecticut, at Thomas in Connecticut. And they have a racetrack there. We did an autocross day with a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, and a Mercedes SL
awesome.
with the doors that come up.
That is sweet.
A lot of fun. The Ferrari was the best car out of all three by far. It was amazing. Like, put on a glove. It was just, these Italians, they know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing. With shoes, with cars,
Yeah.
with, food, everything. Love Italy. So the interesting about this new Ferrari, it's called the SF90 Stradale, is that it actually is a hybrid Ferrari. So it is using electric motors and electricity. Actually has lithium-ion batteries in it to give you electric power as part of the vehicle. Now, hybrid, so it does have a standard gas engine. It's a V8, that is humongous, But the thing that the hybrid part of the car does is that it has 3 electric motors inside of it. So not only 2, like a Tesla has 2, front and back. This one has 3, front, back, and then underneath the motor as well.
The seat vibrator?
The seat heater?
This is the seat heater, right? But it actually boosts the horsepower to 986 horsepower, which brings you from 0 to 62 in 2.5 seconds.
So does that improve fuel economy anyway? Not that that's a priority for Ferrari owners.
It doesn't matter. But what it does do, these battery packs, it does allow you to drive 16 miles on a charge, on all electricity charge. So if you ran out of gas, for example, you can go another 16 miles on the electric battery if you needed to. But
can you get it in just straight gasoline without needing?
No, not this version.
Because the body style is ridiculous.
It looks awesome, right? It's so cool looking. It starts with a 4-liter turbocharged V8, which is found in the 488 GTB, but with the the electric displacement on top of it actually brings it up a lot more horsepower. So it's that engine, the electric motor that sits in the middle, that's attached to the transmission that gives it the ability to boost the power there. But it looks awesome. It's all-wheel drive as well. So the first all-wheel drive Ferrari.
Wow.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. So I mean, you've got the two motors, obviously, so they can
Yeah, that's
obviously
an
move
equal.
independently and things like that. But it's pretty sweet. And as Gio said, it looks really, really awesome.
Yeah.
It actually shifts 30% faster as well.
30% faster?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a rocket ship. It's
Probably still pedal shift, right?
no, it's automatic.
Pedal.
Yeah, paddle. It's all Ferraris are paddles.
Right.
So, like old school Ferraris, like you had a Testarossa, that was all manual transmission, right? Clutch, had the sweet gearbox with you could see like the
Yeah.
which
The
was
way it
kind of
should
cool
be.
about
It
it,
should be.
right?
Right.
But nowadays, all Ferraris are this auto manual, right, where you've got the paddle shifters
shifting.
to do it.
Kind of like my Subaru.
Kind of like my Acura. My Acura has paddle shifters, but you don't need to use them. It's not mandatory. With Ferraris, I think they're kind of mandatory.
So that's all you can use.
Right, but with my car and your car, right, we have paddle shifters, but they're kind of optional.
Right. Yeah.
That's because you actually don't need to take your hands off the wheel. When you're
It's cool. Too bad now the time we should put the picture up because you can show it to the folks. But it's really cool looking at.
Right, look at the interior too. Like,
Yeah.
this
I didn't
is
see the
so
interior,
sick.
actually.
Look at that, beautiful.
Ridiculous.
There you go, side view of it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's a beautiful car.
See if we can show let's see the camera. Can I see? Can you see it?
You can just
see
Google it.
it.
Man.
It looks pretty awesome though. Yeah, you could Google it, but it's the Ferrari SF90 Stradale, Stradale.
Kind of see it. It's all right. Cool.
Yeah, pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I'll take one.
awesome.
If anyone Actifio is buying, help me out. I definitely would snag one.
There you go.
What's the
Nice.
price tag on it? Did they say it's not released yet though? Is it?
It is not released.
Price tag
yet.
go up a little bit.
You can't get them. You can't even get them.
no.
Let's see. You can't get one. I mean, come on, yeah.
You have the money. You can't get them.
No, you can't. You have to have.
Right? It's like a wait list.
Right.
It's not just waitlist. Do they still have the rule with Ferraris where you can't buy a new one unless you're a pre-owned Ferrari?
Well, that was for the to get a Ferrari Enzo, like back
Yeah.
in the day, like that was like the anniversary one, 100-year anniversary or whatever it was. You needed to be an owner to get one.
Okay, so that's not for all. That's just that
No,
was just for that
I
one.
don't
Okay.
think so. But the wait list for Ferraris is like stupid, right?
I mean, I haven't really looked into them lately. So
Well,
it's been a while.
let me tell you, it is. But yeah, it doesn't mention a price point. But let me see if I can find here Ferrari SF. The Stradale price. Let's see.
Special bargain just for you.
Discount today only.
Yeah, right.
Coupon on eBay.
It doesn't really say. I'm looking here. Oh, base price $1.2 million.
What a bargain.
No.
Hey,
Ju-
I'll take
Stradale Prius.
I'll take 5.
Stradale Prius.
Oh, you got your shooter, right?
Prius, you get like, what, 20 Priuses for that? 30?
More.
Probably way more.
Way more.
Yeah.
No, like 50K for a Prius, maybe?
I don't know how much our Prius is.
I have no idea, but let's say it's 50K, 20 of them. You get put this way, you get 20 cars that cost 50K. Over 24 cars that cost 50K for one Ferrari.
It does have an EV mode as well, which basically that's when.
Why would you want that?
Well, that's when you put in the all electric, and it has a max speed of 83
What's the
miles
point of
per hour.
that?
It's only for reverse.
I know.
Yeah,
All right.
it's pretty awesome.
Cool.
All right, so my story is anyone have any IoT devices like smart thermostats or
Nope, none of that. You know me.
I know none of you guys do.
Negative.
Don't do
I've
that.
built my own IoT devices, but one of the interesting limitations of IoT devices is that often their range is fairly short. So you may be using Wi-Fi, so you have to be in your house, things like that, which is fine if you're dealing with like a thermostat or whatever. But what if you're dealing with something where it's a little further away? So Sony is releasing an IoT chip. This is pretty cool, I think, or maybe scary, depending on how you think of it, with a 60-mile range.
What?
So you
60
can
miles?
60 miles, it says.
That's
so then you could basically use this chip to sort of communicate with anyone within 60 miles. One idea they had was, hey, you can use it to help find friends at a ski hill. Or maybe follow,
Ski Hill is not 60 miles neither.
Exactly right. So you're definitely going to be within range.
True.
So you could like put a tag on one of your daughter's, jacket when they're old enough, and you would know where they are at all times because it has GPS built in too.
That's interesting.
I think that's pretty cool.
All right, Jay.
60 miles is pretty darn far.
I think so.
So I don't know. I just think that was interesting, and it stood out for me as 60 miles, even in a noisy urban environment, and even at objects moving at high speeds. So imagine now it's probably low power and low data rates. You're not going to do video or anything,
Right.
but it has
It's
GPS
just
built
signaling,
in.
though. Probably just signaling. Back
Right,
and
but it
forth.
has GPS built in, so it will tell you where it is. So that's, I think, really quite interesting.
That is interesting.
It's like, wow.
I guess it depends on the application, right? So, like, if it's in your house,
Right.
You might not need it because,
You
like,
don't
who
need
needs
it.
a
Right.
60-mile range on their Nest thermostat?
Right.
Doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
exactly.
But it opens up new sort of remote use cases like the skiing one.
well, that's what I said. Like,
or
that was a
whatever.
good one, right? Yeah. If you're
Like another one I've thought about is like my dog.
putting on a dog's
Right.
collar.
Yeah.
I love my dog, but he's kind of not the brightest bulb. And he ran away once this weekend, and we found him.
He did?
He didn't
Does he get out
very
a
far.
lot, or
He does. My wife was walking him, and he decided he saw something more interesting than her, and just took off. Of course, all he did was go to our neighbor's house, so it wasn't a big deal. But still, I had to go look for him, and I had to drive around, and I was
it's
calling
pain,
him, and it was
yeah.
pain, it was upsetting. And in fact, one of my sons was like, "Well, Dad, isn't there something we can do?" And his idea was, "Why don't we attach a tile lost key tag to the dog?"
Yeah,
Good idea,
exactly.
but the range is too short. To your
oh, really?
point.
So
yeah.
then you were
But if you had a 60-mile
right, exactly.
IoT thing, it'd be perfect for him.
I put it on my cats. If the cats had collars, I'd put it on there for them.
Totally. You
You know,
could
like
easily-
they've never gotten out, but you never know. One
Right.
time, and then like it's coyote food. You know?
Totally. That was very cool, just because it opens up all new possibilities of what you might do. That's my last story, effectively. How do you think, Jason or Gio?
No, I mean I only had 2 stories today. I mean I was looking through the news and it was all about like the China thing, which
saw
I
that,
feel is
yeah.
played out. Then it was all about smartphones, which I feel like we've played out many times. And there's a bunch of laptop stuff. I'm like, who buys a laptop nowadays? You know, obviously we have one for work, but like a consumer, who would need a
I have a Chromebook at home.
I think eventually laptops are going to be the use case is going to be phones, like laptops eventually.
I know. My problem, though, fundamentally, is you need something you can type on. Can't type on a phone. Maybe it's just me because my fingers are too big. But
Work
Sorry?
wise, I feel like eventually, I'm talking decades, it's going to go to the phones.
If I have to type anything of any amount, I just really prefer to use something with a real keyboard.
Agreed.
And I do have a tablet with a keyboard. I do have that. It's okay. It's not the same.
Well, eventually, they're just going to go virtual keyboard.
I can't do it.
Hologram.
I can't do
Hologram
it.
keyboard.
I don't buy
Hologram
it because I don't have the same touch typing feeling. I don't know. What do you guys think? No more keyboards? Maybe all voice recognition? Who knows?
I like my
Implanted
keyboard. I like
chips.
that touch kind of thing.
You got the MacBook Air, which actually has a better keyboard, meaning it doesn't
We
break as
discussed
much
this
as these.
before.
Yeah.
These things are horrible.
Yeah, well, I don't know how I got this one.
You're lucky. Like this key, I think is broken. I think
I have
Oh,
a couple
really?
of those.
it just doesn't want to work.
Well, you're like, Godzilla on thing.
He's like pounding it. Oh, it's working now. Okay.
Oh, now it works. He's got to hit it enough times.
I know. I don't
Thumbs up,
use
thumbs
it.
down.
Either reboot it or just keep banging at it and it'll work, right? Like most technology.
That's my message for
Thumbs
everyone.
up, thumbs down.
Practicing with my keyboard.
I'm actually pleasantly surprised
the
on this guy.
beer, I mean,
I was happy with it. I mean, I was surprised. I thought it
like the smell.
Idaho
Maybe a little
something.
too much pine
yeah.
at the end.
It's DDH.
I don't know, because I feel like with sap, it punches you with fruit,
Yeah.
and then it gives you some pine, but it's a little more mellow. I know old school sap used to be a lot more pine, probably kind of like this.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I'm impressed. I mean, I don't know much about many New Hampshire breweries, any that are good.
It's good.
So
Yeah, I was happy with it.
pleasantly surprised with it.
It's
Absolutely.
good.
I do what my kids do. They're like,
Yeah. Sure.
they like this.
Right.
It's in the middle.
You're
So
halfway. Yeah.
do it in the
Cool.
All right.
middle. Yeah.
Well, that's it, I guess, for this
Yeah.
week. Now, the good news is I don't think we're traveling much, so we're all around. We should be around next week too, right? Next few weeks.
Yeah, well, we'll be around.
We'll be
This
on
week.
Data Driven too.
Then there's Data Driven,
Right.
which we could. That's only Tuesday
Tuesday,
and Wednesday,
Wednesday.
so we could always do a recap on
Right.
Thursday. So yeah, we'll be around.
Excellent. Well, have a great weekend, everyone. And
Hope everyone had a great Memorial Day weekend.
yes. And tune in next week when we will talk more about hopefully more exciting technology stories next week.
By the way. Everything's exciting.
Totally. Everything is awesome.
It is,
Everything's
especially
cool
when
if
you're part of a
the
team.
Exactly.
A little Lego movie
I
reference.
know, exactly. Yeah, although I saw the new one recently.
Did
I
you
didn't like
see
it
it?
as much.
It's not
I didn't
good?
like it as much.
Oh, I didn't see that
My
yet.
kids liked it.
My
They thought-
kids love those.
Yeah.
Yeah, they love the Lego movies.
Cool.
I haven't seen the new one though.
All right. Well, I will shut down. Thanks, everyone. And we'll see you in a week.
Cheers.
Cheers.